right. Good evening. What's up, Vinny? How we
Man,
doing?
man, I'm good. How about you?
Man, I'm grand. I'm grand. We are the Beast of the East podcast. As you can see, I'm trying out some of these psychedelic backgrounds here. I'm going to be cycling through these things as we go. I found this. I used this one over the weekend when I did the Bleav Dogs post game pod, the little extra segment that I did. I used this background. I don't know. It's kind of funky. So kind of different.
Trippy.
Very trippy. Trying to attract a new audience here. What do you think? So
Hey, it's those AM shows where they call and talk about aliens. They might just hop on in here, man.
well, hey, the more the merrier, right? So,
Yeah.
like I said, we are the Beast of the East podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network, coming to you on the video side from y'all's conference network. We are live. The chat is up and ready to go. If you want to jump in, feel free. Make some comments. We are without Israel. He is watching girls Monroe High School girls basketball down in Southwest Georgia. He is on teacher duty. I told him to say that he has to go number 2, and so he can jump in. Maybe he'll jump in later. Maybe he'll join us. Maybe he won't. Hopefully he will. Hopefully the game will end and we'll still be going. So regardless of that situation, T's and P's, my man. T's and P's. John joins us. He find that Selma Hayek in a bikini slideshow always attracts a crowd. Well, John, I got an assignment for you. You can make that for me as my rolling background, and I will be happy, more than happy, to run that.
Should have done that yesterday, John.
I know. See, I could be prepared, right? I could be prepared if you did, but nonetheless,
he gets no argument from anybody here with that statement.
No, it's a very true statement, actually.
Clearly.
It is complete.
Factual.
Yeah.
As TLC used to say, actual and factual.
That's right. It is totally facts. But we are brought to you by Betonline.ag. The big game is finally here as we hit Super Sunday with the last game of the football season. As always, BetOnline has you covered from odds, scores, totals, player performance, props, to where the next fired coach is going to land. BetOnline has the number 1 spot for all things NFL betting in 2022. I wonder what the odds were on the Texans landing Lovie Smith.
Oh, no. Was he he was administrative or something with them, wasn't he?
He was their defensive coordinator, I believe.
Was he? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And the odds, well, what were the odds for McCown at first? It was like he was a shoe-in to get it.
I know. He was like 2-1 or something. It's crazy.
And he's out and Lovey's in.
Well, I'm glad. Lovie had a successful run as Bears head coach. Not so good in Tampa, but I think there was more at play there than just, I don't think it was an apples to apples type scenario, but I'm just glad McCown's not the head coach. I didn't care who they hired. As long as it wasn't McCown, I think that would have been a slap in the face to every candidate out there.
Yeah, because, he would have, he didn't pay any kind of dues. He didn't really.
No, not at all.
I know it's who you know, but wow, that would have been. And they would have been a train wreck anyway. Him without experience trying to take over their mess already, and that wouldn't have made anything any better.
No, not at all. But they get some stability now, so that's good. That's good. Speaking of stability, it's not just football. BetOnline has basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC odds, and the coverage is the best in the business, from sports right down to your favorite Vegas casino games. BetOnline is your number 1 online wagering destination. So head to BetOnline today, or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code Bleav, that's BLEAV, to get you started. It's the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and play your favorite games. BetOnline is where the game starts. So, Vinny, let's get right into it. I think we'll start with Kentucky basketball, because that seems to be, yes, John, you are an ideas guy. Kentucky basketball seems to be a good thing to talk about these days. So talk me through that game. What happened? I didn't see a whole lot of it. I kind of wish I did at this point, but it was a good one. I heard.
It was. We talked about it either on here or Bleav in Kentucky because I had Stacy and Jake on the Tide Talk pod guys on there. We did a little, preview. Another Saturday road game for Kentucky. At Kansas, at Auburn. Here we are at Alabama, and it was kind of more the same. When they're healthy, the road arena gets quiet. Now, unlike Kansas and Auburn, Kentucky didn't jump out and take control. Alabama punched Kentucky in the mouth first. It was 9-1. Coleman Coliseum is jumping, and they're all into it, and this is what you want. And they got a quick bucket to make it 9-3, and then it was Kellen Grady hit a three. And when it was 10-6, you could already feel like they're weathering the storm. They're kind of getting their legs around them. They're gonna be fine. They took that punch, and Alabama didn't run away from them and hide. They kind of got their legs. So they end up winning 66-55. A lot of people thought it'd be a big track meet like 97-93 with both of them having such high-powered offenses. Mm-hmm. It was more of a rock fight. It was up and down, but it was sloppy and there was a lot of missed shots. Kentucky wins 66-55. So after going down 9-1, they outscored them 65-46 to close the game. So after taking that punch, you basically beat them by 20 on their home court in a game that, Alabama's 4-5 in conference play. Halfway point of the season, you want to start the second half right. So it's kind of I don't say must win, but they want to get off to a better start in conference play. Nate Oates said it in his midweek press conference. Stacy and Jake talked about this kind of a must-win game for Alabama, and you take that punch and you beat them by 20 in their home court. And Oscar Tshiebwe had an off night with 10 points and 15 rebounds.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive there. And I think one of the things I mentioned with the Georgia Auburn game is bench contribution. Georgia got none of that. And the reason why Auburn was close to losing is they got no bench contribution either. One of the things I noticed with Kentucky is you had Collins with 10 points in just 9 minutes and Mintz with 7 points in 19 minutes, both really good contribution off the bench. Of course, Collins had 6 boards as well. So when you look at the depth that Kentucky has, that like how much of a factor is having a bench that can come in some crucial minutes and critical minutes and actually come in and be productive?
That's huge, and you kind of expect it from Mintz. First of all, this is one of the oldest teams Cal's ever had. Mintz is like 24, transferred in from Creighton. He played last year, and as bad as they were, he would kind of put the team on his back as best he could, and they were still just so flawed. You didn't get to see a lot of it pay off. He'd have his moments, but they'd still lose, or it was just. There was no fans in Rupp Arena. He didn't really get the true experience of what it was like to play at Kentucky. So he comes back again this year. He's been more the sixth man, but you know what you're getting with him. You're getting offense. You're getting a good, steady veteran presence. So you know what you can kind of pencil in Mintz for. They're struggling to hit some threes. He'll come in and hit a three, that kind of thing. Collins, on the other hand, the rare exception, he's one of the few true freshmen on this team. And he hadn't played in about the past 6 games. DNP, coach's decision. But the young fella, to his credit, stayed ready. They're still trying to put weight on him. He's on that like Michael Phelps diet, trying to get 5,000 calories and got him in the weight room. He's skin and bones, but he can provide some shot blocking because Tshiebwe, as good as he is not a shot blocker. They love to do that, get the guards in the paint and throw the lob. He's a great lob guy because he's bouncy, can jump out the gym. 6 for 6 from the free throw line, and he hadn't played, like you said, in the past 6 games. So the dude, to his credit, had stayed ready, and that's huge down the stretch because it was a rough type game. He's still gonna get pushed around when you play some physical teams, but Alabama didn't really have physical bruisers, so this was a game he could get in and make a contribution, and he did.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it, and it was a great game, great time for him to kind of shine. We get closer to postseason play. One of the things I want to also mention about this game that stood out to me is they went 3 from 30 from three. I'm gonna say that again: 3 of 30 from 3-point land. They're the nation's leader in 3-point attempts. There's probably a reason why they've lost a bunch in a row. They're 14-9 now. They've been on kind of a skid a little bit because they're living and dying by the three. Don't you think? I don't know. I'm not a huge basketball expert here. I coach football, and I could probably tell you how to get out of most situations in football. But as far as basketball goes, like if you're not shooting three well, is it time to try something else? Are they? I mean, are they really built for that?
I mean, they don't. You think maybe pump fake and step in and shoot a little mid range? They don't really have a big center they can throw it into and get points from that standpoint.
Do they have anybody that can take it to the rack though?
Yeah, because that's Oates' philosophy. Score at the rim or get threes. And last year he was quote unquote revolutionizing basketball with this philosophy. Now some of those guys are gone, Petty and Herbert Jones. Some of those guys that had a better season are gone, but he's still kind of living by the three, dying by the three. He's not the first to do this. I mean, Rick Pitino at Kentucky, came in. Pitino's Bombinos right after they were on probation. They jacked it up like that. So this isn't a new thing Oates is doing, but he was the best thing since sliced bread last year.
Not
really working this year. They beat a lot of good teams, but they lost to some terrible teams. So it's really up and down, and they are kind of on a downslope right now. But you think maybe get in and try to go in and get fouled or shoot a 15-footer or something.
Get three the hard way, I guess, right? I don't know.
Yeah, some of those were open. I mean, Kentucky contested some. Some were good looks. He did say that, but Texas A&M shot like 1 for 20 or something when Kentucky played them down there as well. I'm not saying they're the greatest 3-point defensive team, but that's a couple prolific shooting teams that both had terrible shooting games at home against Kentucky.
But at the end of the day, you got to find a way to drain some of those, and you got to find a way to create when you're not at your best from 3-point land. You can't always shoot your way out of it, so to speak.
Yeah, and Oates in the post game, he did say they were good looks. We got to have guys get in the gym more. Got to have guys get shots up because you get confidence when you see the ball go through the net. He also said our defense was pretty good because if it wasn't, we would have gotten blown out, which I kind of disagree because after you got, Kentucky spotted you a 9-1 lead, you kind of did get blown out. You lost by 20 the rest of the way. So
there was that poor stretch there early in the second half where Alabama lost it and Kentucky stretched it from 4 to 11 points, and then the game never really changed after that. It was all Kentucky from there, even though it was a 11-point game. It kind of stayed that way. For the most part, the lead stretched and then shrunk a little bit, and then kind of stayed within that range right around 11 where it finished. So I don't know. Like you got to find other ways to get you confidence, and then your threes will start hitting. Like it's almost like throwing the long ball in football and just throwing it. Yeah, it gives you confidence if you hit one, but if you're not hitting one, if you're not hitting any of them, I mean, what you go 3 and out and punt. The other team's
all day long.
Yeah, the other team's going to start pushing the lead out there. I mean, it works the same way in basketball. I mean, the 3 ball is kind of like the go ball in football. I mean, it's a great confidence booster. If you can hit a few in a row, then, man, you're in good shape. So, I don't know.
Defense looking at you like, man, y'all need to hit a deep ball or do something different because we're tired of coming out here.
We need to
3 and outs. We're tired of running back out here with y'all punting all day. So,
Exactly. So, But a huge win for Kentucky. Another confidence boost builder there as we head towards the SEC tournament and ultimately the NCAA tournament. Another team that was looking for something along the lines of a confidence booster, something that's going to keep them in the number one spot. The Auburn Tigers were on the road at Georgia. The only reason we're talking about it. The 22-1 Auburn Tigers, 10-0 in conference. Boy, they escaped, man. Wendell Green got them out of a jam. Georgia played pretty good. If they'd have got any sort of contribution from the bench, they probably would have won this game by 4, 5, 6 points. But they just could not get anything off the bench. And defense down the stretch was horrendous. There was one play, I think Georgia was up by 2, and Auburn, I forget who it was for Auburn, had it at the top of the key and just dribble 1, 2, and went uncontested like it was the All-Star game to the rim. Everyone just turned around and watched him go to the rim. Nobody fouled him. Nobody tried to block it. Nothing. Yeah. It was brutal.
They had some crucial misses from the free throw line too that could have probably put them over the hump. Yeah.
They were bad from the charity stripe. They were. I mean, it just shows you what kind of team Georgia is. Any team with a pulse probably would have sent Auburn home with a 10-point loss. Let's just be honest about that, because Auburn didn't play. Auburn didn't get hardly anything from their bench either. Katie Johnson led the way with 20 points, but I mean, you look at the box score, right? You look at their bench. 4 minutes. You had 2 guys with 11 minutes and 19 minutes scored 4 and 2 points, 6 points from your 2 biggest minutes contributors off the bench. You got no production. They didn't hardly rebound, no assists. It really they got one guy got 3 personal fouls. That's all he contributed. 3 fouls, 4 points in 11 minutes. They got nothing from their bench, and they were 39% from the field. It's not going to win you a whole lot of games, except against Georgia.
They
who was just 40% from the field.
I don't let them off the hook.
Definitely let them off the hook.
2 ways. Either Auburn is, good team finding a way to win when they don't play their best, or Auburn is a little vulnerable. They had a 1-point win at Missouri, which they could. They were lucky to get out of Como with that one. Had a dogfight in Athens where they
got a bit of a gift on Saturday.
Yeah. So is Auburn, kind of peaked too soon, or are they just a good team that are scrapping and finding ways to win when they're number 1 team in the country and everybody's trying their best to take them down? It's just a couple ways to look at it,
Well, basketball's a long sport, so I mean, you're bound to have an off day at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And this was their off day, and they, I think against Missouri they were able to fight back a little bit because Missouri's a good team, but Missouri's very streaky as well. I think they were able to kind of fight back. The Georgia game, they just got a gift. Let's just be real about it. They got a gift. And I think when I don't know. I said it in the post game pod. You got to get more from the bench, and that comes down to recruiting. At least on Georgia's side, and Georgia hadn't really got much from their bench all season long. Auburn has. They've obviously recruited well, but the biggest controversy was foul or no foul, or block or charge, or no call. I don't know. I kind of thought it was a good no call. Don't let the referee decide that. Right there.
Yeah,
I kind of lean towards that.
Just kind of let the players determine it at the end, unless it's just completely egregious.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody gets decapitated out there.
Yeah, unless it's like a 1995 New York Knicks foul, or like a Bill Laimbeer chop your head off type situation. But to me, I will ask you this from an outsider. Okay. It was a great effort, right? They played hard, but they played like 5 dudes at the Y. getting together for the first time. They've played like that all season long. Is Tom Crean the right guy? Is he the right guy?
I don't know. Did we talk about this a couple weeks ago? You know, he took Wade to the Final Four in Marquette, and he's kind of rode that for a long time. We talked about this last year on Bleav in Kentucky with Tony Delk and I, when Tony was still hosting Whitney, that I think the commentators said, because it was the Anthony Edwards team, and they jumped out and had Kentucky beat, you know, in the first half, and you know, he kind of strutted to the locker room like, we got this. And then Kentucky came out and beat him in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
It said something to the effect that Tom Crean, like, changes or reinstalls the playbook every 5 games, like, redoes every. And I was asking TD, is he, like, giving them too much? Is that just trying to feed them too much information over, you know, what if this is working? Maybe leave it alone. But every 5 games, you just change everything. I don't think, I mean, I'm not there, but that seemed like maybe that was a little too much, or you're just trying to do too much. And
yeah, I think that's too
not
much.
really working. I was kind of questioning that method. I mean, he's been a coach longer than I have, but that didn't really seem to make a lot of sense to me when I heard that.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I can't think of any sport where an information overload is going to win. You know? I don't know.
And that's, I mean, if you just get, say, man, everybody's not going to be comfortable with everything at the same time, but say everybody's kind of rolling with that, and you go 3-2 or 4-1 in this 5-game stretch, and it's 5 games. It's time to recycle everything, and now we're reprocessing a whole new semi-system, and we're like starting from scratch every couple weeks. It seems weird.
And the problem is, like, you really, with that method, you really only get one really good game out of the guys, and the rest of the time it's them trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And I personally don't I personally don't subscribe to that. I think simplicity is key. Let your guys, you know, figure out what you do and let your guys go. If I was a basketball coach, I'd probably subscribe to the Nolan Richardson style of play. 40 minutes of hell, and let's just go, man. And let's get buckets in transition and stuff like that. So I don't know. Like,
how many coaches now do you hear say, you know, we you know, Cal says a lot. We respect our opponent. We don't fear anybody.
right.
We're more concerned about what we do. We're working on us.
And that's basketball. Like, you don't have, like, basketball, you're not really worried about what the other opponent is doing. I mean, you know, the best coaches in the history of the game, John Wooden, on down the list, were all worried about themselves. Or when I say themselves, John Wooden was worried about his team.
Yeah.
Cal worried about his team. Guaranteed Patino worried about his team. Coach K, you think he's worried about NC State? Nope. He worried about Duke.
Should have been worried about Virginia tonight, though, but that's anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's neither here nor there. I think he's kind of checked out, I think.
Yeah. It's always good to see them lose, though. Yeah. On a buzzer beater at home in Cameron Indoor, you love to see it. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, you do. Yep. I think all the Duke haters, I think all the deep down Christian Leitner haters, a lot of y'all Kentucky fans have still have that seared into your mind.
Oh my God! Oh,
that's seared in there. Hey, Russians, Israel's not here, so take a hike.
That was devastating, man. For anybody, old enough, that game in '92 when he hit that shot. First of all, look, see, I'm gonna get upset all over again. Just like I do, because you're in Georgia.
Yeah.
I used to be a Hogs fan until they traded Dominique for Danny Manning. I still get pissed off about that.
Yeah.
Leitner should have never been in the game. He stomps on Amino Timberlake's chest. He doesn't get a technical, or he does get a technical. Should have been kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
He clearly just stomps on the man's chest, and everybody saw it. Should have threw him out the game. He stays in the game. He goes 10 for 10 from the field, 10 for 10 from the line, 30 however many points, the game winner. Every Kentucky fan he should have never been there to take and make that final shot. He should have got kicked out of the game for intentionally stepping on a man's chest. But he was the golden boy. He was Christian Laettner. And he could do whatever he wanted to do.
Oh, man, I can get you wound up, can I?
It's all over again. 30 years.
I just get you wound up, man. It's all good. I
And
love it.
The speculation is, too, in this tournament, you know how the NCAA tournament, the committee, they say they never go by storylines. They never make seeding.
Right. They're huge, dude.
Even though Kentucky will play Northern Kentucky or Western Kentucky or Eastern Kentucky in the first round, every chance they get, they always match them up. Well, Kentucky and Duke, there's the chances of them being in the same region and meeting in Philadelphia again 30 years later, just like they met in Philadelphia in 1992. They'll say they don't do that, but watch, that's what happens.
Yeah,
Kentucky and Philadelphia.
Totally.
In an Elite Eight matchup, just recreating that history from 30 years ago. But we don't do storylines. We don't do that.
No, don't. No, you don't. No, it's all numbers, man. It's all numbers. So, so now that we got that out of the way,
one more thing too. See,
he's going.
Danny Manning, the Christian Laettner. As the Braves fan, I'm older than you, but the '91 World Series when Kent Herbeck just yanks people off of the bases.
Yeah, I'm still bitter about that too.
See what I'm saying? I'm with you on that. I'm a Braves.
I mean, I was just a first grader, but I still remember it.
Yeah, I was in 7th, 8th grade. I'm 5 or 6 years older than you, so I was in middle school, junior high. But yeah. Herbeck had no reason to do that. And then I was literally screaming at the TV. How can I know this when I'm 13? Bobby Cox, we love Charlie Lee Brandt, but we can't bring him in to face Kirby Puckett. First of all, it's lefty righty. Lee Brandt barely threw the speed limit, and he's going to throw a 56 mile an hour just hit me ball to Kirby Puckett, and you saw what happened.
That was not good.
You ain't got to have analytics. You ain't got to Bobby Gorcher. I'm like, no, we don't want Charlie here. We love Charlie, but not right now. This ain't the spot to bring Lee Brandt in out of the pen against Kirby. A lefty just lobbing softballs up to
Kirby. BP.
Yeah. Oh my God. But anyway, my bad. I didn't mean to.
It's okay. Apparently, this is Bees of the East therapy session. So, we're gonna reset with our newest of sponsors. That would be NordVPN. NordVPN. So, what's more important than peace of mind? Well, apparently nothing. And that's what NordVPN is here for, to give you peace of mind while you're online. And with all the threats that you face today on the internet, it is more important than ever to be sure that you have the best VPN that you can get. NordVPN is the world's best VPN service, offering the fastest connectivity, the most servers, and next-gen encryption to make sure everything you do online stays secure. Plus, you can use NordVPN on all your computers and devices, no matter the operating system. With NordVPN's unlimited bandwidth, you never have to worry about a slow connection either, and the plans start at just under $4 per month. So grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/Bleav or use the code Bleav, that's BLEAV, to get up to 70% off your NordVPN plan, plus one additional month for free. It's also risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. NordVPN. Do it. Be safe. So, yeah, our newest sponsor, man.
Hey, love it, man. I worked him in on that last episode of Bleav in Kentucky. And, like you said, those Russians that are always trying to
those freaking
mess
bots,
around
man.
Israel is here. Ain't NordVPN.
Those freaking bots, man. So, did you watch the Tennessee game at all?
No, they blew out South Carolina.
Yeah, it ended up being a tight game for a little while. But they showed just what hitting a crucial three can do for you. They Tennessee. Zakai Ziegler, he had 18 points.
Who tonight?
What's that?
For tonight?
No, on Saturday.
Oh, okay. Against what? South Carolina?
Yeah, against South Carolina.
Yeah.
It was a tight game for a little while, at least early in the second half, and dude just blew it wide open. So I just wanted to make mention of that. I think that they're third in the SEC in 3-point shooting percentage. They've made 4 of its first 5 shots from 3-point land, so they are the anti-Alabama in that regard. Right?
Yeah, they are. And Alabama's on this list of 3-point teams, and it was Alabama and it's a bunch of mid-majors and schools you never heard of. But when you look at really efficient offenses, that's where all your other Power 5 schools are. Look at not just your 3-point shooting, but your total offense, and all the other teams are on that list. Alabama and a bunch of also rans are on the 3-point, attempts and
exactly.
But that's that's what Oates wants to do.
Well, I mean, that's what he's got to do, right?
Yeah, that's what they keep recruiting too. So that's what they're going to keep doing. So they're going to keep, living and dying and looking good some nights, looking like they can beat anybody, and then they can't throw an oath in other nights.
Yeah, that's kind of their MO, unfortunately. So what can you do, right? Any other basketball games from Saturday? Put out to you. I mean,
Kansas bounced back from their beating that Kentucky gave them, and they destroyed Baylor, they beat them by 30. It was at Kansas, but defending champs.
I guess they bounced back in a huge way, didn't they?
They did. So I guess they kind of washed the taste out of their mouth for that. Gonzaga's still rolling, but again, they don't really play anybody in their conference. Poor old North Carolina, Duke destroyed them. That was Coach K's last trip to Chapel Hill, and it was over as soon as it started. But then Duke loses to Virginia tonight on the buzzer beater that we just talked about. So the ACC only right now has 3 teams in the tournament. Duke, I forget who the second team is. I think Duke, Notre Dame are the only ones really solidly in, and Miami was like the last 4 in. And the rest of the ACC is just going to be going fishing, like TNT says. But only 3 teams right now from the ACC. That's the slimmest pickings I think I've ever seen.
I know, that's pretty crazy, ain't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've never seen the ACC down like that.
Yeah.
That's good for the SEC though.
Yep.
Yeah.
And more SEC guys.
Exactly. I know, right? We are. So looking ahead, obviously Kentucky has and you can catch the full preview on Bleav in Kentucky. Kentucky faces South Carolina tomorrow night. That should be a blowout on the road, but hopefully Kentucky doesn't play down to their competition there.
Yeah.
South Carolina, they're good. They're streaky. They play hard. It's gotten them 4 wins in conference. It's gotten them 13 overall. But they just aren't quite to the level of Kentucky. Auburn takes on Arkansas in a West matchup. LSU A&M, that should be a fun one there. Missouri Vanderbilt also on Tuesday. Vanderbilt got a big win over the weekend, so they beat LSU.
Sure did.
That was huge for Coach Stack. So they look to build on that momentum.
Pastor.
God Almighty, right?
It's good for the pastor.
The pastor with the boxiest shoulders I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's always dressed to kill, and when they played in Lexington, he was in all black. He looked like a reverend out there.
Reverend Stackhouse.
Yeah. He got teed up. He got teed up, and he took his jacket off and was looking for somebody to throw it to. He didn't just throw it on the ground, but he held it because he was so mad. And he was, hold my jacket because I'm mad. I was like, easy, Pastor. Easy.
Oh boy. Well, on Bleav in Georgia Dawgs, we'll get to preview the Georgia-Florida game on Wednesday. Bama plays Ole Miss, and Tennessee plays on the road at Mississippi State. That should be a good one as well. Georgia-Florida. Florida, I'm not real sure what Florida has. They are an even 5-5 right now in the conference.
Underachieving a little bit, I would believe.
Yeah.
Thought they'd have a little bit more.
We're at the indoor swamp, so that'll be that'll be a get well game for Florida, if we're being honest about it. So that's what to look forward to there. If you want to catch some more in-depth previews, go to our respective shows. Tide Talk Sports, so we'll probably Locked On Ole Miss. We'll give you all the information on the Alabama-Ole Miss matchup. Bleav in Tennessee. I don't know if they do basketball, but if they do, check them out.
Tyler talks basketball or not.
Bleav in Vanderbilt. They definitely don't do basketball. And then, of course, I don't know about the others, but there you go. There's all the basketball news that you can handle. Were you pleased with signing day last week, or just overall your signing class?
Yeah, Kentucky had a lot of theirs done early, but please look, man, you guys are used to this. I mean, this is nothing new for Georgia, but Kentucky, according to Rivals, finished 13th in the nation, which is
I saw that and I was like, wow, okay.
Unprecedented. A few short years ago, Kentucky's in the 60s and the 50s, and we're freaking out when they cracked the top 30. So it's still 6th in the SEC, but 13th in the nation. To see Kentucky do that is, I mean, you just keep doing stuff we've never seen before on the football side. It's crazy.
Exactly. Just continue to do it. And early on, you probably thought Mark Stoops wasn't the guy.
Oh man, there was, which you knew he came into a dumpster fire. Bless Joker Phillips' heart. Joker last season he goes 2-10, and Neil Brown was offensive coordinator, and they're coming in looking at the talent, the roster, and they're like, the job and the building they had to do because the cupboard was so bare. So 2-10 for Stoops' first year, and he jumps to 5-7 the next 2 years with a chance to go to bowl games, and then just couldn't get that 6th win. And was it his 4th year? He's kind of teetering, but they beat Mississippi State at home. Austin McGinnis kicked a field goal, and they end up going to a bowl game. I think they go 7-5 that year. And that was kind of the turning point because he was kind of getting them on shaky ground.
Yep.
But that was the Benny Snell, Josh Allen season. And the next year, it's the Citrus Bowl year, they go 7-5, a couple 7-5s. Then they jump up to 9-3 and win the bowl game. But just he was kind of given time. He had a plan to come in and win traditionally in the trenches at Kentucky. Normally it's air raid, it's gimmicky, it's you got to trick people. But he was just coming in, going toe to toe, and he's done everything he said he's going to do, and nobody
expected it.
Stuck to it.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it's really good patience from Kentucky's administration because starting out it went sideways, right? So
but you couldn't help it because what he inherited was a mess. So you go 2-10, 5-7, 5-7 season. There were some questions, and back then you were still kind of waiting to see the defense improve. We're like, this is a defensive guy, and it's not really. not really happening. They were winning some shootouts, and the defense was still kind of behind. But
Yeah.
slowly, he just kept building, kept plugging, just kept his nose down, and kept grinding. And then we've seen it all. And now you're poised to, if they're able to keep Liam Cohen, we see teams still trying to pluck him away. We didn't, the Miami Hurricanes job. I didn't really. But his name is still floating around.
I don't think Cohen's going to leave unless he's head coach in college or back to the NFL as a coordinator.
Which the Rams have openings. So, I mean,
Yeah,
that's where he came from. So, McVay's his boy. So that's the one where if I'm kind of holding my breath. Because he just came from there. It'd be easy for him to go right back to it. But if you get a second year out of him with Levis and Rodriguez back, and you lose Wandale Robinson, but you got a couple of transfers, coming in, burying the Robinson kid and Javon from Alabama transferring up there. So, it's shaping up to be another solid year. The schedule is favorable.
Mm-hmm.
You can already look and you can see 9 wins if you're honest. I mean, easy. So
I'm gonna go to my dry erase board. I'm gonna write 500 sentences. I will not doubt Kentucky again. 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 Holy cow, man! They were. I mean, Georgia's defense was. I mean, it was otherworldly. I think that Kentucky game obviously would have been way tighter had Georgia's defense just not been what they are. They had very, very, very that one series in the second half was probably the most beautiful series I've seen out of any team against Georgia's defense. Just methodical 8-play drive that ended in a touchdown. Kentucky's only touchdown, and I looked at it, I was like, okay, Liam Cohen, he's a dude. Like, I mean, he's creative. His play designs are really good. I think he finally settled in and figured out the college game a little bit. I think it took him a minute to figure out, but I think he found a way to pare down what y'all do into something that works and is digestible and use that as a foundation. And I think he did a good job of building off of it. And that's why you saw Kentucky's offense, I think, in essence, kind of take off.
Yeah, he finally he kept talking about I want to marry the run and the pass, want to get it balanced, and he was able to do it. You had a good running game. You had that was already in place, and then you had some threats on the outside, and you were able to pass for 200, 250 yards a game on a consistent basis, and and make defenses realize that you could consistently pass for 250 yards a game on a consistent basis, and it made it that much harder to defend. The screen was Nakobe Dean. Kentucky had a screen.
Yeah.
With
all they had to do was get in his way, and they walk in.
And he bust through 3 blockers and just
no. He didn't bust through anything. He ran right around them.
Yeah. He watched 3 Olays. He sidestepped though.
I don't know how the hell he did that. That's probably why he's going to be a early first rounder in the NFL.
Yeah.
That dude is special.
You said otherworldly. That's the play. Like, man, if Kentucky gets that blocked, maybe it's Georgia
that gives them a chance.
That puts a little pressure on Georgia. That has, we got a game into the second half. In between the hedges,
yeah. I mean, because Stetson in the first half wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire either.
No, Jaquez Jones pick up the fumble, just just pick it up, just grab it.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things in that game that were kind of quirky.
Bowers with Bowers though.
So, Bowers did have a Bowers play against y'all.
I bragged on him all year, man, because he did it every week. Something freaky every week he did, man.
It was ridiculous, man. But yeah, I say all that just to say I was impressed with what Kentucky was able to do offensively. I think had you had a little bit more consistency at the quarterback position and taking care of the ball a little bit better, I think you're looking at a 10-win like Ole Miss type situation with Kentucky. Just it was going to be tough for anybody to beat Georgia this past season. I mean, it is what it is. It didn't matter. I mean, I could have played quarterback and it wouldn't have mattered. Nobody was going to score on them.
It'd have been great to see you on Good Morning America. Just barely been able to hold your head up, Corey.
I think I would have had to cancel that appointment. I probably would have said, nah, I'm good. I can't make it. Somebody would be like kicking me to make sure I'm still awake. But Georgia's class finished number 3 in the country. Super pleased with it. Gunnar Stockton going to be the future at quarterback. I think getting Branson Robinson, who looks like Nick Chubb now as an NFL player, not as a high schooler. Like the dude is yoked. Like
is that the one 700 pounds? Is that the kid?
Yeah, that's the kid. He looks like Clubber Lang, build wise. Like he's
it's ridiculous.
And then got some key pieces in the defensive backfield, and got Bear Alexander, a defensive tackle. I thought that was a really good. I mean, not really good. I thought that was a phenomenal pickup. Denylon Morset at wide receiver from Kennesaw. I think he adds an explosive piece to it. Dylan Bell from Houston. That was an actual signing day coup from Houston, Texas. Brings in some much needed tall physicality at the wide receiver spot. Of course, bringing in offensive lineman still. Oscar Delpt at tight end. Like, we're starting to become tight end you. CJ Smith coming in from Orlando, big 6'3" receiver. Looking to bring in some explosiveness at that position, which is what Georgia needs. So
still going to be traditional lineup in the eye, lineup. Well, not the eye.
I mean, you're starting to see you're starting to see it kind of shift a little bit. Okay. It's not quite what it was under Chaney first few years. Kirby, you're seeing him. He's still like, it's hard for him. It's hard for him to let go completely. But
right.
you're starting to see it. You saw it throughout the course of the season. You saw what they did in the championship game, and then against Michigan as well. Those two games were probably the best marriage of the run and pass game that I've seen all season long. But it was run to set up the pass. I mean, it's just beautiful play design, stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more of that. I don't want us to go full on like flinging around, even though as an offensive coordinator I have to fight myself on that. But Georgia, that's not their identity. So before we get out of here, before we get way off topic here, let's talk Super Bowl. There's a lot of SEC guys in the Super Bowl, so why not? It's relevant, right? Rams, Bengals. Be on the lookout. PlayActionPools.com. We're doing a pool. There's a bingo game. As soon as I get a link to that, I will share it out on my social media. So if you were watching, be on the lookout for that. But who you got?
I'm gonna look. The Bengals have proved me wrong, the whole playoffs. But that said, I'm still gonna go Rams. They've been there. McVay's already lost the Super Bowl. Aaron Donald's already lost the Super Bowl. Von Miller wants to win another Super Bowl, and the two of those guys looking across and seeing that Cincinnati.
How valuable was that pickup, Von Miller?
Yeah, he's a Super Bowl MVP. You just added us. I mean, he gave Cam Newton nightmares when they played Carolina a few years ago. So, and that Cincy offensive line was suspect. 9 sacks against the Titans, even though they won that game. You got Donald and Von Miller that you got to deal with now. So I just, Cincinnati might prove me wrong again, but I think the Rams will be a little bit too much for them this particular Super Bowl.
Yeah, God, it's like, it's hard it's hard to go against what Cincinnati has done.
Yeah.
And I find that increasingly difficult. But again, same with the Rams. It's going to come down to can the Rams figure out how to play better down the stretch or not? And for me, that's where the Bengals get you second half.
Yeah.
So is it going to be a story of the Chiefs game all over again with the Rams and Bengals? If you're a Rams fan, you hope not. But for me, to be honest, who do I want to win? I just want it to be a good game. This is one of the few Super Bowls I've been able to say whoever wins is I'm good with.
Mm-hmm.
Who do I think is going to win? I think the Rams are going to ultimately win out because like their team is capable of getting 9 sacks and not screwing it up like the Titans did.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of at too. I mean, Joe Burrow's gonna, maybe Mixon can take some pressure off in the run game, but Burrow's gonna be, 0-step drops. Get that thing out of there quick because
Totally.
Donald and Vaughn, just he's not gonna have time for Chase to get anything going down the field. It's just gonna be hot and get it out, hot potato to anybody.
That's right.
If he wants to leave this game in one piece.
Exactly. So, Odell Beckham Jr. He's experienced a big career resurgence in LA.
Mm-hmm.
That's gotta sting Baker Mayfield, right? Like on a side note. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Giants fan.
Yeah, it's gotta
started his career, so I mean, and there he is. 60 minutes away from a ring. And
yeah.
I mean, I guess he unfairly got a lot of that crap in Cleveland, but he's moved on and doing fine. And Cleveland was the one still kind of struggling. I think they tried to pin a lot of that on him in Cleveland for it not working.
But a lot of it is. I mean, Jarvis Landry has seen a decrease every single year with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Odell Beckham leaves and all of a sudden becomes productive again. Like we think he's dead, now he's productive again. Like just like that. Like in a blink of an eye, all of a sudden he catches 6 touchdowns for the Rams.
Sure did.
Like I mean, it's a team sport, so obviously it's not all on Baker Mayfield. It'd be unfair to put it all on Baker Mayfield, but I mean, Stefanski, I think Stefanski's biggest problem was that he relied too much on Baker Mayfield. Maybe he didn't say, "Hey," and at times he had some injuries and COVID stuff that prevented him from using Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. But for the most part, for most of the year, you had enough games with those two in the backfield that you could have at least made the playoffs, right?
Yeah. I made it the year before and won a game. So
I mean, you run the ball with those two. You're not a air it out team. I know that's what the NFL is, but that's just not who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's not who you have to be.
Wasn't he coach of the year last year for that?
He was.
Yeah,
he was. I mean, he didn't just all of a sudden lose the ability to coach.
So it's you got to consistently do it consistently. And here, Cincinnati been at the bottom forever, and now they're in your division, and they just won AFC.
They have a dog at quarterback though, with Joe Burrow. But then again, like you have somebody who learned under Sean McVay with Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
Like Zach Taylor's his NFL experiences have been great. Like look at Ryan Tannehill's most productive season in Miami. Guess who his quarterback's coach was? Zach Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Taylor goes to the Rams. Jared Goff is not just a dude. Jared Goff was a really productive quarterback for the Rams. Guess who the quarterback's coach was for that Super Bowl team? Zach Taylor.
ZT. So either way, McVay is. I mean, win or lose, McVay is going to get.
McVay is a winner regardless.
He's already.
It's going to look good on him regardless.
Yeah.
Like let's just say it. McVay is beyond legit now. Let's just put it out there. I think there was a season or two where we're like, are we sure about McVay? He had a good start, but are we sure? Yeah, now we're sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're sure. And it's just I'm not ready to say he's like the offensive version of Belichick, but maybe he's the offensive version of Belichick. And I think that's why, he's able to find his way and navigate his way around some of these situations. I think also what helps is that the air of confidence he instilled in Matthew Stafford, like they were dead to rights in that Tampa game, right? Like they shouldn't even be here, but no panic. Sean McVay just said, "Okay, Matt, let's go get it. You got it, man.
Yep.
Let's go win this thing," and they did. And it doesn't hurt that you have Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
he's not bad.
Yeah, he's definitely not. And they were pounding the Bucs in Tampa. I mean, it took, it was a bunch of Akers fumbling a lot.
It was a calamity of errors. Like every bad thing that could have happened.
Yeah.
So
because if doesn't, they imagine a narrative. They go into the defending champ's house and just knock them out that way.
Mm-hmm.
It still was Brady's last game ultimately, and he ended up throwing a touchdown to Evans. But imagine him going out at the hands of a 34-10 whooping. It wouldn't have tarnished it, but it would have. Brady goes out nearly leading his team to victory against the Rams.
Yeah,
when it should have, all probability, probably been a beatdown his last game.
Exactly. So that's crazy, man. That's crazy how that works out. So but Vinny, that's going to do it for us here. We've been going almost an hour. You like the Rams, as do I. At this moment, I'll probably change my mind a couple times, but as of right now, I like the Rams. I think they're going to win. I really want a good game, so if I'm wrong, I'm cool with that. But
me too.
The Rams are they're just going to be hard to beat. I think they're on a mission. They've been there before. They've got a little bit of experience. That staff has experience. Most of your key players have experience in that game. So to me, it just seems like they're going to be, the Super Bowl's a completely different animal.
Mm-hmm. And the former dog Stafford can get him one.
Let's get him one. He deserves one after 12 years in NFL prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Called Detroit.
Exactly.
If there are any Lions fans listening, I apologize. But if I'm being honest, you have a terrible franchise. And they just hired Matt Nagy as their offense coordinator. So, yeah. And on that note, we are the Beasts of the East podcast, brought to you by Betonline.ag, Masterclass, and NordVPN. We thank you for listening. We thank you for watching wherever you find us. Please make sure you come back. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Give us a follow on social media. Give us a comment. Give us a subscribe on anywhere you find your podcast as well. For Vinny Hardy, I'm Corey Burton. We wish you a good night. Have a great week, an even better weekend. Have something special planned for your wife for Valentine's Day, and we'll see you back here next week. Maybe it'll be Valentine's Day. We might push, but we will let you know for sure. And we thank you. Good night.